on the far side of town, sharing a dream with anyone. She's made it through heaven, she's made it through hell. It's just another story to tell. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen, filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights, making up a bar queen on the phone in the great big boulevard, the place she belongs. It's just another story she tells. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen, filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights, through Hollywood nights, through Hollywood nights. You always looked after me, brother, when we were children. You always had my back. You took all the blame when our father caught us doing things that drove him mad. Through the years I could lean on you when I messed up. I'd call you in the night, but I broke too many promises and we split up. Though I still need ya, you gotta save me now. I'm slipping so far down, it's only you I trust to set me free from this. I don't know how I got into this awful spot. I don't know where it ends, so I could use your helping hand tonight. I wanna say that I'm sorry, I got sidetracked and I left you in the cold. I've seen your side of the story, I felt the drawback. My mistake took its toll. Finally, I have realized I was dead wrong. I wasn't thinking straight. No more lies, and from here on out I'll be better, 'cause I still need ya. You gotta save me now. I'm slipping so far down, it's only you I trust to set me free from this. I don't know how I got
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews. All it takes is 2 mics and 1 line. This is Bearded Villains podcast worldwide. Driving cross countries, getting ball tires. Fam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Check your phone, cause BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it and that another could. Never underestimate the power of brotherhood. Every bro, every chapter, every caption. Heart of a villain, bro, lights, camera, action. Action, action, action. Let's go. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another night, a Thursday night edition of The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. Sometimes, most of the time. Well, we like to think we are, right? What a great night it is, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are Thursday night. This is the 25th of August already. This will be the last show of August 2022. This year is just flying right by. And I got to say, it's throwing me off a little bit seeing so much blue in this picture because I got the new Scully cap on tonight. The lights behind me are blue, and my eyes are blue, and the hat is blue. And it's just a little... I'm not sure if in the corner of my, my peripheral vision a little bit sideways and up where I would see myself, it's a little bit much. I don't know, but we'll stick with it for the night. So guys, thanks so much for being here. Can't say thank you enough. If this is your first time here watching the show live, make sure you subscribe to the thing, click the little bell thing, whatever it is, so you're notified every time the show goes live. Just so we can bug the hell out of you just to say, hey, get over there every Thursday night and watch. We are at, I think, 750 subscribers right now, which doesn't sound like a lot, and really it's not in the grand scheme of things. But if we can keep pushing and keep telling all of our brothers out there and sisters who want to watch as well, if we can keep pushing, get us up to 1,000 viewers, there's goodness on the horizon in the world of YouTube. So let's keep pushing for that. But if you are listening to a standard podcast platform, you guys were the bread and butter from day one, way back on episode 1, and I cannot thank you guys enough as well for being here. Tonight, we have a fun night. We have a fun night in store, and I have really no idea where we're going to go with this, because this could go completely off the rails, or just a whole lot of fun. Which is what I'm kind of hoping it is. Tonight, we are going to flip the script on 2 of our brothers. We have a couple brothers from BV New York Upstate that do this little thing. They have their own little show on Friday evenings over on the Instagram where they dial up and they talk to a brother. Interview format, just kind of very casual IG Live type of thing. And way back when, I was honored to be on it with them. And it's kind of a get-to-know-you thing. Well, we're going to flip the script on them a little bit, and we're going to bring in Chris and Jason here in just a few minutes to have a chit-chat about them. And if you do know them well, maybe you'll learn a little something extra. If you don't, then you definitely will learn a little something extra about 2 really cool brothers from the New York Upstate chapter, and kind of what drives them. And I don't want to ruin it because I don't want them to know what I'm going to be asking them, because the interview is going to happen live. That's right. We're doing it all live. That's why I say it could completely go off the rails. We'll just wait and see how things go. But I'll be bringing them in here shortly. First, I want to say hi because I know they are here. So Chris and Jason, thank you guys for being here so much. But I want to say hi to everybody who is here live with us on the tube. Let's scroll back through everybody here. and say hello to Mr. Forge. Got a bunch of guys from my chapter here hanging out with us. And no, I didn't tell them they had to. I didn't force it upon them. They just, I guess, have nothing better to do on a Thursday night either. So, Forge, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. Tim is here. So is Andy. And Buddy, how you doing, buddy? Reverend Nick is in the house as silky smooth. Mr. Seth, how you doing? Beardry is here. That's right. Robaba is here with us. Can't wait till Thanksgiving time when he comes back across the pond and we get to hang out again. Hopefully, I'm sure I'll just kidnap him. We'll find a way to get him over here. That's for sure. Bam Bam ENC is in the house, as well as K-Mac BV ENC. Good to see it. I think I already said Tim. Rich, how you doing today? Good to see you here. Mars, hopefully the sound is sounding a little bit better to you and we don't sound like we are in a tunnel for you, like you thought we did initially. Slap Happy is here as well. Gosh, good to see you guys here. You guys really don't have anything better to do on a Thursday night. That's good for me. We get to hang out. That's always fun. Donnie is hanging out with us as well. Good to see you here, Donnie. How you doing? And anybody else? JD, how you doing? Mr. Moore. JD is hanging out with us as well. All right, guys. So I just want to get into it because I know our two bros are waiting in the wings for me to bring them in. But I want to get in real quick just because I know we need to do it. We have a few things, chapter merch and chapter business, chapter news-wise, to share with y'all. So let's do that real quick with some chapter merch. Okay, so just real quick, I've a lot of stuff that we had expired that we had in the past, or we've had it on for 4 or 5 weeks. So I take it down if it's been on that long. But let's get through things. Last week I'm going to be showing this because it's been on about 3-4 weeks now, and but I got to give a big shout out to our brothers up north of us, not way up north in Canada, but way up north as far as like 5 minutes from my house, just across the border. Up in Michigan, the BVMI chapter is raising money to get their 501c3, and they are selling their Pure Villain patches. $12. Hit up one of the Bearded Villains Michigan on Instagram for further information on how to get that patch. Next up, hey, look at that. BV New York Upstate. They have a very cool shirt, I hope. I'll find out from the guys if I'm spilling any information that's like expired or anything, but at least as of earlier, they did have a really cool X Factor shirt and a whole bunch of awesome 90s throwback t-shirts and stuff with that logo on it. So get over to bvnewyorkupstate.bigcartel.com to gather all of the goodies for that as well. Next up, Blackshire Villains. This will be the last time I bring this one along. They had a huge merch release. No, it's not March release. I just keep forgetting to change that little title slide. March release. Their merch, they have everything as they do when they do a big release. They got a 3/4 sleeve raglan, an Oxford shirt. They got a few different variations of a playing card shirt, a sleeveless hoodie, a varsity jacket. They got all sorts of stuff. So hit them up, blackshirevillains.bigcartel.com is where you're going to go for that. Next up, last time around for the Montreal Bearded Villains Pride Patch, the 2022 Montreal BV Pride Patch is $15 and available at montrealbeardedvillains.com. Next up, the East Side Villains. The East Side, Eastern Washington, has the Beast Side patch for $12. Proceeds going to the Alzheimer's Association. Available ewbv.bigcartel.com, ewbv.bigcartel.com. This one is a new one for this week, so get your crayons, pencils, papers, all that, pens, all that stuff out for the BVWNC release. BVWNC, they have a pre-order, I believe it is, for all of this stuff here. And so they've got a shirt for $20 to $25. They got a whiteout patch, they're calling their whiteout patch, for $10. And then they have a limited patch for $25. So get over there. The way they want you to do this here, I guess they don't have a store set up, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't support them and get out there and buy the stuff, right? So reach out to Chris or Jeff from BVWNC at Fight with Heart or Samhain the Villain. Run into one of those guys and hit them up so you can take part in their pre-sale. And then finally, I have to include it because it's my chapter. That's right, the Bearded Villains Northern Indiana Ezra Crow World Tour T-shirt pre-sale is out, going for a couple more weeks here. This is a really, really, really cool shirt. It's not going to be made again, so grab it while you can. This thing ranges in price, depending on your size, from $25 to $27. So pretty good deal. The shirt is not silkscreen. It is direct-to-garment, so it feels like a concert T-shirt. It will feel like the concert T-shirt you get and you pay $50 for at a concert. So grab one of those at bvnorthernindiana.bigcartel.com. And that is our merch so far for this week. All right, last thing I want to do before I bring in our bros, Chris and Jason, I want to give a big shout out to a certain chapter over the Queen City. Want to give a big shout out to these guys. Anytime we get brothers that share stuff from the chapters, what they're doing out there in the world, I love to share it. I apologize if I'm missing something that your chapter's doing. I can't see it all, so I that's why I always say just to be sure, send it to me. But hey, big shout out to Queen City. They delivered 60 of those string bags, the ones that turn into like backpacks and whatnot. The 60 of the string bags with a refill, not just disposable, but the refillable water bottles and hygiene and snack products for people. So that's just awesome. That's a really good take on how to do that same project. I love the fact that you're able to do it with something that's refillable, something that they can use and not just get a snack or get a hygiene product and throw everything away. The people that utilize this stuff to have an actual pack that they can keep, a refillable water bottle they can keep, very cool to see. So kudos to you guys, Queen City, for doing that good stuff. All right. So, guys, we have reached the time. Now, as I said earlier, we've got a couple of our bros who, from New York Upstate, and these guys took it upon themselves to start up a little show on Friday evenings. It's pretty cool to see, and it's a lot of fun for those of us who are watching because we get to chime in and send all sorts of crazy comments while they're talking. Usually what it turns into is we learn a little bit about somebody, but we also get to sit there in the comment section and just razz the hell out of them while they're trying to answer questions of these guys. So I want to bring in two of our bros from BV New York Upstate. We got Chris and we got Jason. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
Excellent.
I'm having a blast, man. This is my regular Thursday night. I don't get to do the live interviews very often, so it's always fun when I can. But it just means I have to really stay on top of all my buttons and switches during the entire show. So yeah. So usually during the interview portion, when I play back an interview, I can just sit back and sip a little bourbon and go through a few different things and. Hell, check emails. I don't know, whatever the hell I do while the interview's playing. But not tonight. Not tonight. We're going to have fun talking with you guys. So if you can, and we'll just do this kind of alphabetically. We'll start out with Chris, if you can, Chris. Tell us a little bit about, if you can, just kind of we're going to do a get-to-know-you phase. I know you guys kind of do the same thing on your show. And we're going to we're going to delve into some of the deeper levels of the show and why you choose to do the show. So, but let's just talk a little bit about you guys and your background a little bit, what do you do for a living, all that good stuff, if you're just kind of doing your bio page. So Chris, let us have it.
All right. Well, here I am. I'm Chris. I'm part of the BV NYUS chapter. As far as what I do for work, it's pretty boring. I work for a lumber company. Which ironically, you would be surprised at the price of lumber these days. So it's pretty crazy. It keeps us on our toes, but it's it's pretty boring for the most part. I sit behind a desk, screw around with keyboards all day, and severely piss off customers when I tell them how much it's going to cost to build their house.
Yeah. Just a second on that. I mean, so I learned this in talking to somebody I think it was last year when we were looking to redo our deck, and talking to a guy. We were going to try to outsource it and have a guy in his company come do it. And we have a huge deck, and we didn't want to rebuild the whole thing, but we wanted to resurface it. And he told us at that time, I guess, all the majority of a lot of the lumber companies, the mills up here in the northern, well, I guess in the northern hemisphere, but in North America really, had still been shut down or were just starting back up. And he was just like, you have no idea. There's supposedly, and maybe you can kind of enlighten us if you even know, supposedly there's only a handful of actual mills that deliver material wood product to this area of the world.
Yeah, it's hard right now. I mean, you got a lot of the companies that are down south, but the problem is getting trucks up this way because there's a lot of, like Rochester where I live, there's not a lot to export. So for trucks to come in, they usually want to drop and pick up and haul back. So if there's not a way that they can find a way to pick up while they're here, it prolongs our process of getting materials. So it's a lot of the mills are down south, and it's one of those things to where unless they can make it worthwhile to make a trip up north, it doesn't happen. So we can be promised lumber 1 week and it doesn't show up 3 weeks after. So it's pretty, it's a roll of the dice, for the most part. Like we're promised a date, and if they show up before that date, it's like Christmas. If not, it's
Okay, so am I going to be in for now? I know last year I kind of priced it out what it would cost me to resurface all the deck boards on my deck. Has the price from say this time last year to this year, has it gone down a little bit at least? Or am I still going to be in for like major sticker shock? Because in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be out there like ripping off all the boards, and it's going to be like point of no return. I got a dumpster coming tomorrow, and so I mean I've got to get it done, but because I got to get that and do some fence work done before the winter hits. But am I going to be in for something here or what?
It's coming down. The problem is it fluctuates, and we never know whether or not it's going up or it's coming down until like it happens. So it's definitely down from where it's been over the last, since COVID hit. It's definitely on the way down. Like pressure treated prices have come way down. The mills are finally back up and fully operational. It's just whether or not whoever you're sourcing the material through actually has the material in stock. That's going to be the biggest problem.
Okay.
So.
All right. So I'm going to be hosed either way. That's okay. Good way to look at it. Jason, what about you, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a field sales engineer for my company, so I work remotely and I travel most of the state of New York and half of Pennsylvania, and I do electronics and electronic access control. So when you hear all this stuff in the news about schools when they didn't have a door properly closed and someone got in, all of that, I do the software, the hardware, all of that. I've done that for years, but now I work for a company that exclusively does the hardware for that. So I keep people safe, ultimately.
Hey, all right. I love that. I love the way that sounds.
Yeah.
The other part of what you said just kind of right over the top of my new hat. My co-cap Ed, and whenever he starts talking computer lingo stuff, I like to think of myself as like tech savvy, but when you start getting into operating and programming system and things like that, I just kind of go.
And that's kind of the fun of it too. I mean, there's the tech savvy piece, but there's a lot of folks that are just their old school hardware mechanical, and the old school hardware mechanical folks, they get it. It's just that we also put an electronic part into it ultimately. So it makes life easy. I mean, basically, I explain to people that aren't part of that whole ecosystem that if you have to use a card to get into a place on a reader, that's where I live. I live in that world.
Oh, cool. All right. Badass. So
Yeah, it's fun.
do you service that, or do you work for a company that like creates those items?
So I work for a company that actually creates those items. We have R&D and all that type of stuff. So we actually create the item. We're the OEM manufacturer. And I'm out there just I'm running these streets, man. I'm out running the roads. People are like, it doesn't not work. And I'm like, hold on.
So wait a minute. So
Make it work.
if I wanted to like have a key card to get down here into my studio, you could hook me up with the device for that.
I know a guy.
Hey,
I know a guy. It's on my front door of my house. I mean, I can use my phone to get in the front of my house, or I could use a card, or I can use a fob. I could use whatever.
well, I've seen the ones now that you can buy in stores, that use the key fob, or they use the code, your phone, and the proximity thing. But I think it would be really, really fun to have a door lock that's, you'd think Fort Knox is waiting behind that door, and it's like some retinal scanner / I don't know, proximity sensor and all sorts of fun stuff just to get into the basement studio, and none of the kids would be able to come down here, and I'd just be like, hey, that'd be awesome.
It's not a bad idea. I thought about putting one on the office store down here. I mean, I'm in the basement in the office, so I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm totally cool with the idea.
All right.
You can't get in here, you can't see stuff.
Right. So, okay, we're gonna be talking down the road. That's for sure. Because I got some ideas. Sorry, honey, my wife won't know about it. I can't get in. Sorry. What is this lock? Sorry, honey. That's private stuff down there. That's secret. That probably hard to do though, because she's the breadwinner in the family and pretty much our income source, and I'm the kept husband. That's the Mr. Mom. So it's kind of hard for me to tell her there's places she can't go in the house. I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I won't go down there. Good luck doing anything because you're not going to have any money. All right, fine.
She's gonna be over at the fuse box.
Yeah, my allowance would go way down. No, I got the fuse box down here. It's over here. But other than that, yeah, everything else I'd be cut off. My allowance would go down
Winning.
to 50 cents a week. But man, so if you can, let's go back to it, Chris. What is it that, and I know this is one of the questions that you kind of delve into when you guys are talking to people as well. What is it that kind of made you see Bearded Villains and go, yes, I want to be a part of that? What was it? Were you at a certain time in your life, or you just kind of come across it? How'd that happen for you?
So it's been a long road for me. I stumbled across Bearded Villains like a long time ago, and I reached out to New York, New Jersey, and there wasn't necessarily a response from them, so I basically just kind of gave up on it. But it was a time in my life to where we had lost twins, back in 2011, and as kind of like as a man, you really don't really want to talk about certain things, or there's not a lot of people that you can talk to about certain things that are going on in your life, or you feel like if you are talking about those things that you're going to be viewed as less of a man. So during that whole process, I really didn't have many people to talk to. So it was one of those things to where stumbling across this and being eventually connected to Blue and then introduced to Slap, and everything else, I ended up being brought into the Hopeful Room and being introduced to a whole bunch of people that eventually I just felt like at home with. So it was one of those things to where I was just kind of looking for somebody or something that I could feel like I wasn't going to be judged, to where if I needed someone to talk to, there would be someone that would be there to listen, and they wouldn't view me any differently for, what I may or may not have, had going on in my life. So when I stumbled across BV NYUS, it just, the first day I got thrown into that Hopeful Room, I was just like, what the fuck did I get myself into? And then after that, it was just, instantly, it just felt like home. It was like, I felt like I've known these guys for years, and, connecting with Jay the way that me and him have, it's like having a brother that I never had. I grew up with a sister, and, to have a family now that I can, pretty much call home outside of my family. So it was pretty awesome.
Wow, dude. I mean, it breaks my heart to hear, what an amazing set of circumstances and coming from tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, but I hear a story like that, and it gives me chills, and it makes me happy to hear that you were able to experience that side of it right through the gate, from the word jump. And that's so cool, because for some guys, I mean, obviously different guys have different things that bring them to it, and it's not. Some guys don't. Some guys are in for a while before they even think about the brotherhood that way. They're afraid to open themselves up. And so that's amazing, man. That's so cool to hear. I love that. What about you, Jace?
It was a stumble across type thing for me as well. I was working with this beard oil company, and I don't know, I got connected to all these different people, and I was growing out my beard at the time, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but there's got to be something more. I kept on seeing this tagline, hashtag, and I got to be honest, at the time, I'm like, Instagram noob. So I'm like, okay, what's this? Bearded villain? That seems pretty cool, man. So I'm like, I clicked on it, and I go, oh, and I click on tags. Cool. And I said, whoa, this is a real thing. And the thing that really spoke to me was just looking at the mission statement, the brotherhood, the charity, those concepts. And I was like, charity really spoke to me. Being able to give back to the community that I live in, being able to give back to the community, doing something outside of my base sphere of influence, and being able to give back to a larger community, that spoke to me. That was the hook for me. When I saw that, I'm like, all right, I got to know more. And I reached out. I didn't see anything that was here, in Rochester area. And I was like, I saw it. There was New York, New Jersey. But I'm like, yeah, that's a hell of a drive, bro. 5.5 hours. I'm like, that's not going to work. So I was like, damn it. And I sent a few emails into the page. And it was around the time that one of our other chapter brothers and I were shooting the breeze, and we were going back and forth via Facebook Messenger. And it was like, hey, you ever heard of Bearded Villains? I'm like, yeah, actually. And, we were going back and forth, and I was like, And he kept digging around, and he ended up getting connected to our former cap, but still awesome member, Blue. And all of a sudden, there was this conversation that started and materialized, and then I'm talking to Slap. And then fast forward very quickly, I'm in the hopeful room, and I'm like, kind of had the same impression that Chris did. I was like, what did I just get myself into? And I'm like, all right, these are a bunch of ball breaking, good dudes. I go, oh, okay. Yeah, this already feels like home. I feel like I know these people. And it was just getting to know everyone, getting to spend some time in that room, and getting to talk with other people, and just integrating, interfacing, however you want to call it, with other people that, oh, by the way, have beards. And we all seem to have similar interests. I mean, there was plenty of conversations about bacon, lots of conversations about burgers and beer and bourbon and cigars. And I'm like, where's this been my entire life? How did it take so long to get here? And that's where it all started. I mean, Hayes came in not that long after, I feel like, and Chris and I were going back and forth on a regular basis. And I mean, my wife calls him Buttercup because he and I talk pretty much every day. So, she's always in the background chirping. She's like, oh, hi, Buttercup. You know what I mean? It's just, it's something. I mean, it's grown into something larger than I ever anticipated it would be. And I'm loving every minute. Our current captain, Slap, and I call all of our guys, I mean, I look at all of our guys like they're good friends and long lost brothers that, I didn't have growing up. And some of the best words I ever heard were, be yourself, reach out to people. If you go somewhere, meet people, introduce yourself. And that opens up so many doors. I watched our hopefuls this past weekend meet brothers they've never met in their life, and just walk up and shake their hand, introduce themselves. I'm like, gosh, that's what I need to see. That was huge.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many thoughts. Yeah, I'll never understand it. But there's chapters out there still that encourage their guys that if they go to a meet, we all stick together, and that's what we do. We're all, that's it. That's, you don't go out there and, you need to spend your time with us. Well, I see you all the time. You know what? I want to meet everybody else. I want to get out there and experience what this brotherhood has to offer. So I love that you guys have experienced that and that you're sending that message home as well. One of the things that I think is really cool about both of your stories, but in different ways, and it's something that is a huge hallmark, I think, for what I've experienced in talking to brothers from all over the world in the last 3 years, is that it seems that one of the most unassuming and unexpected parts of Bearded Villains for guys is that it affords them a connection whereby they're comfortable and they feel confident in sharing parts of themselves, parts of their lives, opening themselves up in ways that they never would have imagined that they could prior to Bearded Villains. And it allows connections to happen that for adult men, it's unlike anything else outside of probably, hardcore military service, from what I've understood.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a quote unquote, you got all these buzzwords and terminology, right? Like safe space, right? This is our safe space. We can all come here. We can all talk about all the things that interest us, which in many ways there's a lot of parallels between most of us. I mean, hell, that's why we're here, right? We all have some really big things in common, and you just get to build. If one of the base instincts of being a human is to connect, that's what this is for, because you are going to connect. And when you connect, sometimes you're just going to go, like you didn't even know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's one of the things is like, kind of like Jay said, I mean, the base of why we're here is that we all have something in common. We all want, to do charity work. We all want to have that sense of brotherhood and everything else. But the biggest thing about this is that we're all different, and we all bring so many different pieces of the puzzle together to create what Bearded Villains is. So if you're one of those people that only sticks around certain people in life, you're not going to see what somebody else has to offer. So by going to meets and meeting people that typically you would never imagine that you would talk to, that person could be bringing something to your life that is going to open up so many doors, in so many ways that completes you in a way that you didn't think was possible. And I've seen it firsthand, like our first meet, or my first multi-chapter meet down in West Virginia for ECM. My mind was blown, and then going to Chicago, it's like seeing people that you connect with on Instagram and then finding out that once you move past the pictures and once you move past the likes and everything else, that's somebody that you still have that connection with when you finally meet them face to face, and that connection just grows stronger with time. And it's an awesome thing to where you have someone that fulfills something, in your life that maybe you didn't have at first. I mean, you can meet some of the best friends that you've ever had in your life that could be living in another state that you would never would have met if it wasn't for BB.
Yeah. Or even another country, as some of us have experienced. I mean, you meet somebody, you talk to them, if you finally get to talk to them, spend time with them, even if it's just for a weekend, and then that person leaves again, and you're just like, what? But what? Okay, I guess I'll talk to you on Instagram or online again. But you're just like, when do I get to see that dude again? It makes it rough, but it's like those connections are priceless. Yeah. They're absolutely amazing.
Yep. Oh God, yeah. I mean, the first time I met Ed was at DSV 5. Just sitting there, we were on Bourbon Street. I got to tell you, I think I had a hand grenade or so, and I was having a bit of fun. And I see the Diablo shirt. I was like, oh, that's the shirt out. Oh, hey, it's another Bearded Villain, cool. And I walked up and I'm like, hey, man. And then we started shooting the breeze, and then I got to be honest, the rest of the night's a blur. I mean, I do remember a 40-ounce Bloody Mary. I had no idea such thing existed, and it was perfectly spicy. I need it. I need it again. But it was cool shooting the shit with Ed, meeting him for the first time, and just hanging out. And then every time I've seen him since, it's like, it's just so awesome. You know, I'm always pleased. And I mean, meeting you for the first time, I think was ECM. I think was the first time I met you. I'm not sure if I met you at DSV. If I did, I wasn't 100% cognizant of what I was doing at the time because that was my first multi-chapter meet.
Yeah, I was there,
Oh,
but yeah, it was probably a quick one.
Yeah, I
and
think
you
it
were
might have
drinking,
been.
and you've been drinking, so yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's right. You were broadcasting from DSV, and yeah, you had you're rocking it, man. I was impressed. I just sat there, kind of like, this is cool to see.
Oh man, it's
That a wheelie down the stairs.
yeah. Crazy things happen. Crazy things happen at those things, man. But I mean, it all when push comes to shove, man. I mean, you have those highlights, those things that stick out. Whereas it may be some specific meeting of somebody that you finally got to meet. It might be a charity event that you went to that completely changed a perspective for you or just gave you chills, and it's something that's the most memorable thing that you've ever been a part of. Do you guys have those things where it's like, this was this right here was one thing that I can say for sure it was one of the most memorable things I've been a part of in BV? Chris?
So, I mean, mine's kind of, like a personal thing where I was actually reached out to by Melanie in Detroit, and basically he had saw one of the posts that I had made. Like every Sunday I go down to my twin site down at the cemetery each and every Sunday, and it's something that I've done ever since 2011. And if I miss a Sunday, if I'm on vacation, I make sure that I go down Monday or Tuesday whenever I get home. And it was one of the posts that I put on Instagram of just me down there with my kids visiting the site, and he had reached out afterwards and was like, I want to send you something. Your post really touched my heart. And he had sent me one of the, it's okay to not be okay patches. But fast forward to that, this is before, I went down to ECM and actually meeting him face to face. It's like we were just instantly connected. It was like we got along great. He's probably one of the closest people that I have, where I go to an event and I see him and it's like, shit, man, yeah, good times are coming. But it's it's one of those things to where having somebody that I didn't even know at that point reach out to me and give me something that clearly he does a lot with that, the mental health community and everything else. And knowing that someone of that nature reached out to me and tried to make that connection was huge, and it's something that's grown to this day. We met up in Chicago, and as soon as he landed, it sends me a message, what hotel is everybody at, and it was just a blast from there on out. But it's just meeting certain people and having that connection, that was one that stuck out huge for me.
Yeah. And it's lifelong, man. It's lifelong. I'm sorry it had to be him, but he'll enjoy that. He'll enjoy me saying that. Yeah,
Oh shit.
Well, he's a good dude, man. He's a good guy. Cracks me up though. Cracks me up. I can't. He's one of those guys that I just see and I start laughing. I can't not.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So.
What, Jason? What about you, man? Was there something that you've experienced in this journey of yours so far that just it was one of those incredibly memorable things?
I think for me it was the We Stand with Ben campaign. When we did that, we did the Unicorn Squad collab shirt, and it really kind of got into my head because it was talking about, this little guy was bullied for wearing, I believe it was a pink jacket to school. And, adults can be awfully cruel and awfully harsh, but kids, Kids have no fucks to give, man.
No.
They will just give it to you. And you're like, wow, that's a really, really shitty thing to say.
Yeah.
And a kid doesn't necessarily know what they mean by it, but then there are some little sociopaths out there that do know what they meant. You're like, wow, okay, yep, you're going to be a fun one later, and that really kind of got to me because, I mean, you've met me. I'm not a small guy, and
Yeah.
I have been bullied in my lifetime, and it stuck to me that this little kid was picked on for the color of what he was wearing. I gotta tell you, I mean, it happened to me before. My parents were like, "Well, we gotta go to the husky section of Sears to get you a shirt." And I'm like, "Bro, this sucks." I'm going to the husky section. I'm like, "This is fun," And I mean, I got my balls busted for what I wore to school. I mean, I'll never forget my first pair of glasses. I call them now the shop teacher specials. They were like, they look like shop teacher glasses. They're like the metal frame. And I had those joints. Yeah, I really did not want those, but that's what my parents told me was happening. And I got my balls busted all the time. And it really kind of got under my skin. It got under my skin because it resonated with me so deeply, having my balls busted and then never having been a bully myself. I mean, I'm this guy all the time. If I give you shit, it's because, frankly, I think you're cool. I mean, I'm going to break your chops a little bit, but that's because we're kidding around, man. That's the fun stuff. But yeah, to have a kid just have their little world busted because they wore a specific article of clothing like that, it really got to me. And we did these videos. And when I recorded the video, I mean, I was really in my feels. It got to me. And I just sat there, as like, this sucks. And the anti-bullying campaigns, all that type of stuff that's been around for a while. I don't know how effective those were, but hearing yourself speak to those words, having actually done some research, to what happens when kids are bullied, what type of chain of events actually transpires from that really spoke to me. So that was one of those moments where I'm like, yep, I'm doing a good thing here. I'm not doing a good thing to pat myself on the back. I'm doing a good thing because if anyone takes anything home from that and they go get whatever help they need, services they need, anything, then I could feel good about that. I could feel like we've done something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. It was heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking. And to know that even hearing his case, his circumstance, knowing that he's one of probably, hundreds around the country that face that same thing daily. And you can't help all of them, but you just kind of wonder what the hell kind of world we're bringing these kids up in. That, I mean, you hear it all the time. I mean, I'm a kid. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the kids growing up today, you hear everybody talk about how they're in the teens and the early 20s. They want everything handed to them, and there's kind of a kid glove approach to everything in life that these kids have had to handle. And to some extent, I do agree with some of that, but there's still a way to handle things. There's still a life, a way to communicate with people without bullying people. And and you look back you think on your own childhood, and you think, if you weren't that bully, or if you weren't getting bullied, were you that bully? And it's just it makes you second guess yourself looking back on things in life. Especially if you weren't yourself bullied, you have to wonder, did I, maybe unknowingly, say some things that were harmful to somebody else. And it's, it breaks you up, man. Especially, and then once you have kids of your own, it's a whole different world. When I saw that, when I saw that thing come across and those videos going on and everything, it hit me a little differently because I have I have 4 kids, and 2 of mine were special needs in some capacity, and our first and our fourth. And so our first, he's now 23, but when he was much younger, he had a seizure disorder and things. And, I remembered what it was like in the late 70s, early 80s when kids had a seizure in class, and when I was there. And thank God we live in a very small community, and there was a whole plan of attack, and there were kids that actually wanted to help him, get a cold towel on his head or something like that if he had a seizure, a bad seizure or something like that. So, but my daughter also has special needs, and so you worry. You're always worrying about these kind of things, about how your kids are being treated while they're not around you. And that one broke me up a little bit too.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, let's kind of get into something a little bit more fun.
all right.
Let's get out of our feels so deeply and bring us a little bit home. You guys decided to do this little thing, and I know at first when you started, it was kind of like this. I think we want to do this thing, and we're just going to kind of reach out and bring somebody in, once a week and just chat about, it was kind of ho hum, and it really didn't. You weren't sure what it was going to do, if it was going to last or anything like that. But you guys have kept it up. It's turned into something really cool. That there's a following now. There's a following of people that want to come in and bust somebody's balls or just watch what you guys are going to say, and the stories that you guys are able to pull out of somebody sometimes are pretty comical. So let's just start with the basics. What was it that made you guys say, this sounds like a good idea and I want to do this?
I mean, it was one of those things where I think one night I just kind of reached out to Jay and I was like, why don't we just start going live from, the Upstate page and just, start talking to some other brothers. And I think it was during the time to where when we started it, there was kind of like a lot of negativity that was somehow like going around BV at the time and everything else. And it was kind of like just to a little jumpstart of what some of the positive stuff, that's still going around, and, interview some of the brothers and see what their story is and see why they're part of BV, why they stuck with BV, what brought them to BV. And, and then it kind of, one day we just, hey, what's one of the craziest stories that you ever had? And it turned, at times there's some episodes that I still look back on and you just got to laugh your ass off. I mean, some of the stuff that's happened on our live is obviously completely unscripted, but it's one of those things to where, I think we're going on this Friday will be, I think, our 22nd episode. So we never thought that it would prolong this far, but it's, I look forward to it every Friday night. I clearly I don't make plans on Fridays. So it's one of those things to where it's gone on as long as me and Jay have, that connection that me and him have to where things just flow, smoothly. And it's one hell of a ride, man. It's been fun.
What do you have to add to that there, Jace?
I mean, I'll never forget it. We started off with McMurray, and he told the story about how he was in his dress whites or whatever they are there for the Navy. Yeah. So all white. And he had to get off the damn boat, and then he came up with like a water high line on his dress whites. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just picturing this. Like, that's fucking hilarious. And I think it just kind of spun out from there. We were talking about it the one night. We're like, yeah, that seems like a fun idea, dude. Let's do that. And then we started defining some, base standards, like, hey, give us a crazy story, or, what brought you here, or then like some of the random stuff we throw in there, like, what's the hardest thing to eat with a beard, and a lot of people keep coming back with soup and ice cream. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's legit, spaghetti's a sumbitch, or you got Hayes with popcorn sticking out of his beard, saving it for later like a squirrel.
I just found out peanut butter sucks.
What does?
Peanut butter.
Oh.
It gets stuck right here. You're like,
yeah.
Well, almond butter.
Ripped, and like I got a chunk stuck in the beard, and like halfway through work it was still there. And at that point it just, kind of solidifies, and it's like bubble gum in your hair.
Yeah, it's like glue. Yeah, it just you wipe it away, and then there still remains that remnant that's like stuck into the hairs, and
not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a wild ride. You know, we've had a lot of fun with it. You know, I think we keep on having fun with it. I mean, we were booked out 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been it's
Yeah.
pretty.
It's funny because, you know, I had fun talking with you guys on it, but the episode that when I was talking to you guys was so incredibly boring and tame compared to anybody else's. As I watched back on the follow-up ones, I'm just like,
it was good.
I was terrible on that thing. No, I was like,
It was good.
If they were to go, people were to go back and watch, you know, a catalog of them and just go back through them. That's not one that they're sticking around for very long. I didn't have any fun, crazy stories. I didn't have any of that stuff. I was just like, well, let's
can always have you know, like a follow-up.
Yeah, one day. There's way too many more interesting people than me to bring into that thing for sure.
Yeah, but the episode with you got out what we were looking to do, which was people got to learn about you. People got to learn about your history. I mean, you know, hearing you talk about being former law enforcement, you know, a lot of folks are probably like, the what? You know, they're like, oh, should I have told them about that time I smoked weed in the back of a car? And, you know, like, you know, it drove home what we were trying to do. You know, people got to know you.
Yeah.
And that's what we like. We like people being able to share their story, and other folks tuning in for the first time, tuning in for the 22nd time, whatever, you know, just to take something home from it.
Right.
Well, you see somebody out of their element. So, you know, you push somebody out of their comfort zone to where somebody doesn't want to sit in front of a screen, or, you know, doesn't want to be interviewed or anything else. And then it makes that person more vulnerable. And so you watching, if you're going up to an event, you know, say Chicago, you're going to look at this person and just be like, all right, well, you know, hey, I'm going to go up and, you know, shoot the shit on based on what I saw on the episode of, you know, Upstate, you know, Friday night. Somehow it's, you know, it turned into kind of like a little icebreaker type of thing. So, you know, it drops people out of their comfort zone and makes them a little bit more human. And, you know, now you're not just looking at pictures and wondering what this person may or may not be like. You're seeing a part of them that typically you wouldn't see. So it's been fun.
Oh, it's a blast, man. It's a lot of fun. And I think the informality of it is one of its greatest selling points, because we've become so used to doing FaceTime on our phones. We've become so used to doing that and talking with family, friends, or whatever else in that regard. And then once COVID hit, everybody was still doing video chats like that with people that they could still connect with. So it adds. One of the things I laugh at is, you know, now doing this thing, the live stream thing since episode 25. So I'm 100 and some episodes of doing the live stream. But it's, for me, I don't actually, when I talk to you guys, when I'm talking to all the people that I interview, when I'm just doing the show live for everybody else, the first part of the show before I bring you guys in, I'm looking into a camera lens. I don't get to see, you know, what I'm actually, so I'm talking to a black circle for 99% of what I'm doing. It's not a FaceTime camera lens, so I can actually see everybody's reactions. That's why, for me, my camera, or my screen that I can see you guys, is up here. Now I'm looking at you guys, but now I'm not. So it's a little bit less natural. And then with all the extra stuff that I throw into it, I've seen it. It makes guys nervous. I reach out to them. Hey, can I interview for the? Is it video? Does that have to be video? I'm like, yeah, kind of needs to be video now anymore. I thought it was a podcast. Yeah, but, you know, and so, but yeah, the first few minutes, everybody's always kind of leery. But with yours, it's neat because your show allows people just to do that thing that they've already been comfortable doing for so long, even though most people still use their iPad or their phone for this. But it's just an added layer of something that makes people a little bit less comfortable than they do with yours. So that's a huge bonus for you guys.
Yeah. And I mean, the comments are always a riot. I mean,
Oh my God.
You get someone like her, and it's like the night is never the same. I mean, Mars's episode, I don't know how me and Jay got out of there, because I think I was laughing 99% of that episode to where I could not get a single word out. Frankie's episode, when his girlfriend showed up randomly, and in the parking lot, that
was funny too.
You can't script that. So it's when it happened, it was just like, wow, we're live right now. This is really going down. So
Yeah. The Mars one was hysterical because he's a talker. And so he likes to sit there and talk, and he'll get into a sentence. And I know he's here live with us right now watching this, so he'll agree. He'll be like, "Yep, I'm a talker." He knows it. But it's funny because as he's sitting there talking, and he'll talk for several sentences, several minutes, about a topic or something, and you guys are sitting there kind of watching him, but watching the comments too. And it's hard when the subject who's answering the question, it's hard for them to answer the question and then also read the comments simultaneously. But you guys get to. And so it's always fun because to see your reaction of the comments coming up. And that episode specifically was funny because, like you said, it was a constant barrage of comment. And you guys, it was just like Mars is on autopilot. He's just going, and we're just laughing our asses off at all the comments as they come through.
And he had no going on. Like me and Jay are like off camera, like laughing. Mars just keeps going and going and going, and super. Just like, I think we all had hair by the time this interview started, and now we're all bald.
That was it. The bald comment. I was dead.
That one, I lost it on that one too. Yeah. And then, like you said, when you have unexpected visitors pop in during a live, that's that's the gold stuff, man. That's the gold.
Yeah. That's the fun part. I mean, we love when Nikolai pops on. Nikolai is like, "Yeah, I'm walking home. It's 3 a.m. here. Got a beer. What's up?" And we're like, "This is fucking sweet, man. Like you're a world away, and you're just dialed in, and it's awesome."
Yeah, it's so very cool to see. Well, you guys have been awesome. I know we could just make this a 2-hour episode of just us chit chatting away, but we got to save some stuff. We got to save some of the fun for future episodes of your show, and it's going to give you a chance to load up and who. So let's do a quick plug for your show. Who you have coming up this week, and then do you guys know who you have planned out in the coming weeks as well?
So we have Bearded AF Vet, I believe, this week, and then Slappy is the following.
Geez.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You're going to see a freaking shitstorm in the comments on that one.
Well, every week, man, there's people, and I've done it. I'm guilty as charged. The second I log, I sign in, I see it, and I'm like, this fucking guy, that's usually my starting comment, every time. And
they'll let anyone on this thing.
Yeah. I thought I was special. What the heck? They're interviewing everybody. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Well, guys, I'm so excited for what you guys have done with this thing because it is so cool that you're doing something different and you're doing it on a platform that everybody can just jump into and see, and you're making it fun. You're not putting any kind of specific limitations or requirements to it other than just, hey, we're going to chill, have fun, learn about each other, and no holds barred. People know when they get on there, the slinging's coming, and it's just a blast.
On that live, there's zero filters.
No filters, and you cannot have a thin skin. It's got to be really thick.
No, it's 100 proof, no chaser the whole way.
Oh, guys, with that, I'll leave it. Man, thanks so much for taking some time with me tonight, guys. I'll be back on watching. I'll be back on watching tomorrow night, and I'll be slinging my filth like I normally do. First off the top, and look forward to the future times at the show, man. Good luck with it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your support.
Oh, 100%. I'm always here, man. I'm always here. I'll be here for you. So look forward to seeing you guys next event, which will probably be what? ECM?
ECM, we actually have a diabetes walk that we're doing up in Lake. So we won't be at ECM, and then I think the next event that I know I am going to, I believe, is Poutine Fest up in Montreal.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but the week after that, I believe, is our event here in Northern Indiana, and you both have been extended invitations to be here for that event, and it's drive-worthy and accessible, and no excuses, so find a way.
All right. Somehow we survived Montreal, which
You'll be able to digest for the entire week, and then
it's 10 pounds of poutine.
yeah, well, that's why I say you'll be able to don't eat anything else all week long. It's going to take that long for everything that you're going to be eating there to get through the body for sure.
Yeah.
All that cheese and all that everything else that's in there, man. That's it's going to be gut wrenching to say the least. So
My insides just cried.
I know. Yeah. And yet we still want to do it, right? I would do it if I could. But we got to get ready for our event that week. So, well, guys, thanks so much again for being here. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, whenever that is. But for sure tomorrow night on IG Live on the BV New York Upstate page. Everybody be there. Let's give them the biggest turnout that they've had yet. So,
right.
Guys, thanks again for being here.
I appreciate it.
All right, I'll talk to you.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was our boys. That was our boys from BV New York Upstate. Thanks so much to Chris and Jason for hanging out with us tonight. It's one of those things, guys, where you could just talk forever with these guys. But everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you get a chance to find some time on a Friday night to go check them out. And if you follow the BV New York Upstate page, you should get a notification when they go live, that they're going live. So definitely something fun to check out. So, hey, for now, let's do this. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo Beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to Pulpo Beard Oils, that's Pulpo beardoils.com, and use the code The Heart of a Villain for a discount on your order. All right. Well, guys, I want to get into our calendar of events. We've got a bunch of stuff on the calendar on the horizon. So there's so many chances for us to get around and do some cool stuff with everybody else. So let's get into that and learn about where our events are coming up. So we just had, that was last week, August 21st. So let's get into the next one up, September 4th. September 4th, BVC has their 8th annual Farewell to Summer Barbecue Picnic. Their 8th annual barbecue picnic that says Farewell to Summer. It's in Niles, Illinois. Bearded Villains Chicago hosting it from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. all day long. It's at the Bunker Hill Pavilion. They got food, music. It's a big family atmosphere. It's a blast. I'm telling you, if you're anywhere near Chicago, come hang out September 4th. September 9th through the 11th, we got 2 events going on in different parts of the U.S. September 9th through the 11th. First off is Battle of the Beards. Battle of the Beards. This is an annual event in Evansville, Indiana, hosted by the Southern Indiana Villains. There's a meet and greet on the 9th, a beard comp on the 10th at VFW Post 1114 in Evansville. It is awesome. Don't want to miss it. Battle of the Beards. If you're anywhere near Evansville, Indiana, be there. Then that same weekend is the event that is no event within an event because it's just a big hangout session for brothers. September 9th through the 11th is the Four Corners Meet. The Four Corners Meet, Cortez, Colorado. Those brothers who have been there rave about it and say it's one of their favorites all year long. The Four Corners Meet, September 9th through the 11th, for brothers only. For brothers only. Just a hangout camping session. It's a blast. Never been there, but I've heard, and I want to go, but, you know. So that's the Four Corners Meet, September 9th through the 11th. Then September 17th, Villains for Appalachia. Villains for Appalachia, hosted by the Bearded Villains Kentucky chapter. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. They're raising money for flood relief with this event. Villains for Appalachia, September 17th. Then September 23rd to the 25th is ECM, the East Coast meet in Baltimore, Maryland. It's hosted by the Southern Maryland and Chesapeake Bay chapters. The event is at the Power Plant. The weekend is a blast. ECM always is, never disappoints. Come over to Baltimore, September 23rd to the 25th. It's going to be a blast. September 24th is the California Villains Meetup, hosted by the SenCal BV chapter. It's at Rincon Beach Park. It's on a beach, guys. That you can't beat a beach, right? 8 a.m. to dusk. It's bring your own everything. So beer, food, probably music, whatever you want. Kids, suntan lotion, whatever you need. Bring your BYO everything for the California Villains Meetup, September 24th. Then September 30th is the BV Beard Comp for Elevate the Spectrum. BV Beard Comp for Elevate the Spectrum, hosted by the Bearded Villains New Mexico chapter. It's at Juno, 1501 First Street in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's the BV Beard Comp for Elevate the Spectrum, hosted by BV New Mexico at Juno, September 30th. Moving on into October. October 8th, Mississippi BV has their 6-year anniversary with the Traveling Gnome Beard Competition. It's a blast. 6-year anniversary of all that is BV in the state of Mississippi. 6-year anniversary Traveling Gnome Beard Competition in Tupelo, Mississippi at Steele's Dive Bar. Don't want to miss it. The beard competition starts at 4 p.m., 7 p.m. after party. The 6-year anniversary Traveling Gnome Beard Competition, October 8th. Then October 14th and 15th, that weekend, there are 4 different events going on. October 14th and 15th. First off, the Florida Summit, October 14th and 15th in Orlando, Florida. Meet and greet on the 14th, beard competition on the 15th. Florida's always a good place to hang out. In Orlando, well, hey, no excuses there. Florida Summit, October 14th and 15th. Next up is October 15th, All Villains Eve, hosted by the Phoenix Villains in Mesa, Arizona. This one is fun and unique. Check it out, guys. Listen, they've got wrestling, yo. This ain't no just standard beard competition thing they got going. They got wrestling, costume contest, vendors, raffles, and so much more. All Villains Eve, hosted by the Phoenix Villains in Mesa, Arizona. It benefits the Phoenix Children's Hospital, October 15th. And then the final thing that weekend is the Battleborn Killer Beard Competition. That's a tongue twister if you think about it. Battleborn Killer Beard Competition. BVPA East, Pennsylvania East is your host. It's at the Wooden Match at 61 West Lehigh Street in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's a beard competition and costume contest. Battleborn Killer Beard Competition, October 15th. And the final 2 things I've got are the weekend of October 22nd. October 22nd, Villains Night, hosted by BV Utah. Villains Night, October 22nd. It's at Handlebar 751 North 300 West in Salt Lake City. You got a beard competition, costume contest, raising funds for Family Place, Utah. Family Place, Utah. That's Villains Night, hosted by BV Utah. And the last thing on my list, October 22nd, here in northern Indiana, the return of Ezra Crow. The return of Ezra Crow, hosted by the Bearded Villains Northern Indiana chapter. It is a Halloween costume contest beard competition, raising money for the Ronald McDonald Houses of Northern Indiana. It's at the Hobart Moose Lodge in Hobart, Indiana, October 22nd. There's a meet and greet on the 21st. Hotel reservations, everything you need to know. Hit up Bearded Villains Northern Indiana for all further details. October 22nd for the return of Ezra Crow. And hey, guys, that's what I've got on my calendar of events right now. If I missed you, please reach out and let me know. I don't want to be forgetting anybody, but sometimes it happens. So make sure you send me a message, and I will make sure I get you on the list for our calendar of events. I hate to have anybody miss out on any kind of thing like that. So, well, guys, that is going to wrap it up. Episode 149 is in the books, guys. It's going to wrap it up. I want to challenge you guys, as I do every single week, to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Guys, the most important words I say to you every week, never forget them. Just remember, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So guys, for now, have a great night. Enjoy this night. Enjoy the weekend coming up. I will see you next week for episode 150, next Thursday night. Till then, guys, take care. Stay safe.
Heart of a villain, bro. Lights, camera, action, 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 action. Let's go. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard.